Thank you very much for watching this video. Before we begin, I wanted to include a disclaimer, as I include in my about section as well as in the description of this video. All of my readings are for entertainment purposes only. They are never, ever meant to diagnose, treat, or otherwise have any influence upon your own medical issues or situations that you may have. I always encourage everyone to make their own sound decisions, including legal matters, financial matters, and every other matter in your own life. These are for entertainment purposes only. As these are general tea leaf readings, again, it makes sense, therefore, that some of this information will resonate with you and some of it may not. You may find that some applies and some doesn't. That is completely normal and to be expected, as these are general tea leaf readings. So again, take what you will and leave what you don't, and simply enjoy your reading and hope that you find it informative and insightful. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah and thank you so much for joining me again here this week. This is a general tea leaf reading for all of us, for the collective, for the week of August the 22nd, 2022. So let's take a look at this very busy cup and see what the universe wants to tell us for this week. We may find that the beginning of this week begins a little more concisely, or perhaps a little bit more steady or secure, maybe even a little bit more slowly. The reason I say that is because it looks to me that there will be 9 different events or situations occurring at the beginning of this week, likely Monday. Of those, there is one highly significant situation or event taking place. I'm going to look into that in a little bit more detail because usually I don't see an event of that size occurring. You can see by looking in this cup just how busy it is. When I saw this, I actually gaped and went, oh my goodness. You can see that by all of the tea leaves here in the cup. So I guess the phrase buckle up and get ready applies here. It's going to be a very busy week. There is one main event or situation which is taking place that is going to be somewhat slow or not much happening. So we are going to have somewhat of a balance between action and being busy and things happening, with fairly significant area where nothing is really happening very much. So we are able to focus on events and situations which are taking place. As I mentioned a moment ago, there is that one highly significant, large, important event or situation beginning on, for example, Monday. It's near the beginning of the week, so I'm going to say Monday. That involves part of this quieter time as well as some of the busyness as well. So please take that into account. So, for example, something happens on Monday, and as a result of that, it lends in a major way to what is going to be happening during this week as events and situations unfold. Specifically, it is indicating a reference to this quieter space. Another way that we could word this is that there is an event or situation, for example, on Monday, where it seems like it is highly significant, but not much is happening. And it does look like that is going to be continuing on for most of this week until the latter part of this week, and perhaps like a Thursday or Friday near the bottom of the cup on the side here where you can see the ring of tea leaves that's forming there. So again, please just keep that in mind. This is a very far-ranging event or situation. You may find that there is a Parisian, and or some form of French connection that is related to this main event or situation unfolding here in the tea leaves, which you can see here. The reason I say that is because there is a form of an Eiffel Tower right here, you can see. This image also looks like multiple documents as well. So there may be a situation where there is a great deal of documentation involved, and this is a significant event. It does appear as though we are going to be receiving a lot of good things near the beginning of the week. It's almost like it's happening in the midst of all of this activity. There is likely a Cancerian connection. So this may be a person who is Cancerian, born in the sign of Cancer. However, I am actually seeing this more referencing the qualities and characteristics of that sign. So nurturing, healing, intuition, and psychic ability, homemaking, those nurturing and healing qualities are being present. And we are receiving goodness. And it's those two things are related. So you're receiving goodness around all of those qualities in the middle of all of this activity. That specifically involves a new beginning, some form of opportunity that is forming. The leaves are also referencing the qualities of organization, so becoming organized, getting things tidied up, in whatever way, shape, or form that may be referring to, for us individually and or as a collective. I always say that the universe, God, source, creator, has a sense of humor. It's being shown in here a couple of times, including a vacuum cleaner, which you can see here. I mean, yes, it's also the form of a letter L, so person, place, or thing with a letter L that's involved in this scenario. However, it's also a vacuum cleaner. Action, speed, momentum, and a person, place, or thing with the letter L and C. There are multiple indications here for new beginnings, completions, stability. In social media was also an indication here of us having all of the power that we need to accomplish something. The reason I say that is because if you look here, there is an outline of a keyhole right here. I'm just outlining it again for you. So whenever I see keyholes, for me, they always mean what I've just said. We have the ability, we have everything that we need in order to literally open a door. In other words, all we need to do is go ahead and unlock the door. We use the tools and abilities and gifts and skills that we have in order to accomplish whatever it is that we want to achieve. I always get excited when I see keyholes because it means that there are wonderful and amazing opportunities like right ahead, and all we need to do is just take that leap of faith, take that step, and go for it. Happiness, abundance, really feeling good. It looks like near the beginning of the week, as this event or situation is unfolding, we're actually looking really good. We're feeling really good. We're just feeling abundant and happy, essentially. There is another reminder. Remember for last week, an angel appeared at near to the bottom of the cup? Well, we have quite a large angel here as well, here too. So there's an eye here, and an eye here, and a smile, head, wings, and then the form of the body. This is one of the reasons why I love tea leaf reading so much. So for example, case in point. Last week, there was a small angel near the bottom of the cup, looking into like the end of next week, and now looking into the beginning of this week. For this cup, the angel has moved literally from the bottom, increased in size dramatically near to the top of the cup. It's like a continuation. So in this case, I would say that there's angelic help around us, divine help around us, as I truly believe anyway, and you can always ask for extra help should you wish to. I don't claim to be an angel expert, as I have mentioned before in my previous week's video. However, just please know that if you feel the need to ask for more help from universe, source, creator, angelic realms, whatever you feel comfortable names using, I would say go ahead and ask. Another way that we can word this is that there is angelic help surrounding and part of this situation. That specifically is in regards to likely some form of education, documents receiving very good things, messages, news, and information, very strong protection, unconditional love, support, loyalty, commitment. There may even be someone who is a water sign astrologically. So that would be someone who is Pisces, Cancerian, and or Scorpio. There's also a sense of magic, almost finding like the magic of life again, if that makes any sense. Just feeling really good and creating wonderful things. In other words, feeling empowered and loving life and loving yourself. Unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment, and this may be specifically regarding a dog. This angelic help is very clearly referencing a person, place, or thing with a letter C or A in their name, which you can see here, depending on how you look at it. Be a C. However, it can also be taking the form of a small a. Tea leaf reading, as I mentioned before, it really is, in my opinion, an experience and or situation. An image can look like multiple things. Groupings can as well. This is one example of that. This entire scenario is very clearly also creating a new opportunity that is very significant and involves specifically 3 different aspects. Simply said, it looks amazing. It's also forming a form of unconventional stability. So in other words, stability that is unique, not the norm. There's also a person, place, or thing with F, as well as the letter S. Based on the way it's formed, this may also be indicating a small letter G. The number 5, based on the way it's formed, possibly, but I'm leaning more towards an S or a G. It may also be referencing the number 9 as well, depending on your take of it. But when I see this, my initial reaction is that it's very clearly an S. As I mentioned in a previous video, I know that we are approaching September, which is typically a time of beginning education of whatever kind that may be. However, education keeps showing up in the cups. So take that as you will. This letter F really truly is referencing education specifically, as well as independent thought. That also seems to include a male and or masculine energy. This individual is wise and is a fire sign. The fire signs being Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Some of us may be seriously thinking of moving, and there is a number 4 surrounding that. So take that as you will. As I mentioned before, 4s for me personally, for my own self, represent the angels as well as stability. But that's my own reference. Take that as you will. That may have a meaning that pertains to you specifically. There seems to be a lot of electronic communication For example, social media, emails, phone calls, text messages. There also appears to be a partnership that is beginning to form. Something new is beginning to take place. It's fast moving, and while some of that information is not being shown to us yet, there are things happening, for example, behind the scenes. It does look abundant though. And there also may be the letter Z involved as well. And for our American friends, the letter Z. We may genuinely have and or feel a sense of divine inspiration, like we are receiving divine guidance, as we always do in my opinion, but it's like we're receiving thoughts, ideas are coming to us, and we're being open to that. Specifically is in regards to new ideas, creativity, unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment, maybe even an actual dog, jubilation, and maybe even taking a leap of faith. Helpful people are involved, which thankfully seems to be the case every week. This specifically is in regards to a partnership that is beginning to form, which you can see here, that involves the number 3. Now, 3 for myself has multiple meanings, as I mentioned before. One of them is also working with other people. This is also referencing very clearly to me the letter S, again, which you can see here. So yes, there is a number 3 here. However, you can see partway is also letter S, as well as the number 4. So 3, 4, and S. Working with many people, and the letter E is involved. I have now seen references in here to dogs 3 times. So I'm going to say that based on that, the qualities and characteristics of unconditional support, love, loyalty, and commitment, maybe even guardianship, companionship, and or protection are intricately and intrinsically involved in this entire scenario. I say that because here you can see the image of a dog outlined. There's one of the back feet, front 2 legs, tall ears, and the face. You may see something completely differently, however, that's what I'm seeing. In its mouth, it's holding a tree. Abundance and prosperity are involved in this entire scenario. That includes open communication between 2 people at least. And happiness and prosperity seems to be continuing throughout this week. We seem to be very happy with the way things are unfolding. Happy faces are throughout this entire cup. You can see right here, there's another one. There's an eye, a nose, and a mouth. You can also see happy tears flowing as well. So whatever is happening this week, it looks like we are feeling very good by Thursday or Friday. Like we're actually crying happy tears. Helpful people are certainly involved. Abundance is a theme throughout this entire week. You may remember a moment ago I mentioned the letter G. It's slightly hidden, but you can see it. In last week's video, an image representing Scorpio, so a phoenix rising, was present near the base of the cup. This is also continuing again this week as well. You can see the Scorpio, or rather the phoenix is right here. So there's the head, 2 wings, and a tail. So those qualities are present. A phoenix rising from the ashes, transformation, new beginnings, a new start. Now we have arrived at this section here, at this grouping here. I always get a little excited when I see groupings like this, because that means to me that whatever the situation is referring to, it is approaching us. As I mentioned in last week's video, whenever I see images this tightly grouped, surprises are on the way. This grouping specifically involves partnerships. Abundance grows from this. Working with other people. Again, the themes of finalization, abundance, as well as speed or momentum are prevalent throughout this cup, as well as in the situation itself specifically. The letters E, W, and C. Throughout this reading so far, I have been seeing smaller references to movement and action, momentum. Throughout the situation specifically as this week unfolds, we may find that there's small pockets or individual situations or events may start picking up speed, gathering momentum, and happen rather quickly. However, by Thursday to Friday, and certainly heading into this coming weekend, as I mentioned before at the beginning of this reading, buckle up, it looks like we are in for quite a lot of action. Something large, a good surprise is on the way. The letters F, A, and documents are also present. There's also a letter G here. We also have a form of a number 11 here. For myself, 11s mean a gateway. They represent a new beginning, transformation. Much like how we saw the Scorpio as well. So there does seem to be some kind of a new chapter beginning. For this number 11, there's certainly people involved in this scenario, as well as someone with the letter E, and the letter F again, as well as the letter E. I find this very interesting. I've been seeing it throughout this cup, so I'm curious to see what your experiences are this week. So if you feel like dropping a comment in the comment section below, please do so. Now for this week's tea leaf reading, I just jump right in. Usually I do a quick overview, so I'll do that overview right now. This large event is essentially comprised of 3 different sections. I have been focusing on the main one, which you can see this section right here, where the tea leaves are very clearly formed. On the left side, there are some other events and situations happening, as well as on the right. However, there is one main area. Now, I have said quite a bit from what I can see. However, please do keep in mind that what is being shown here is that we are in for some surprises, specifically in regards to this one main part of this major event or situation as the week unfolds. So again, you may find that there is this one main section or area of this main event or situation occurring this week, as well as 2 other areas specifically. So as I mentioned, looking into the base, there is a surprise on the way, and that is in regards to an event or situation that is approaching, likely at this point in time on Thursday or Friday heading into the weekend. And maybe next week. It does appear to me that this weekend heading into next week looks to be rather undefined. So in other words, events or situations taking place which likely involve more thoughts, words, conversations, ideas, things are being discussed. Maybe not necessarily so much that plans are clearly defined and that we know what we're doing, more ideas and maybe even talking about situations. This individual event or situation that I'm referring to here also appears to be in the shape of a tree. It's not fully formed, which makes sense because it's not currently happening. However, at this point in time, it does look like it is an abundant situation. This week heading into next week also includes the qualities and characteristics of partnerships. This may be multiple partnerships working with more than 1 or 2 people. Again, it looks like there is happiness, celebrations. People are dancing for joy. There even may be some celebrations around, take this as you will, of course, possibly foreign travel or long distance travel with, if not that, then the concepts of action and momentum. Things are taking place rather quickly. Not feeling inhibited, but feeling free. The number 5 is that being very clearly shown right here. So take that as you will. That is, however, involved in that abundant surprise event, which I had mentioned. This grouping here. A person, place, or thing with the letters T, A, and J. And I see that because if you look here, there is a form of the letter T, although it's small. The letter A right here, and the letter J right beside it, and the letter H. Those letters specifically pertain to a situation that is likely abundant with finances involved. This weekend also, and looking into next week, involves beauty, transformation. I know I've mentioned happiness, but it is being shown in here again. The letters S and J. I will say this, I do find it very interesting that there are this many letters. Typically when I do tea leaf readings, there are not this many letters. I wouldn't say that means anything particular, just more of an observation. That also includes a person, place, or thing with the letter M, 3, and F. And one last note about this weekend heading into next week. There does appear to be a good partnership forming. It looks like it's going to be very prosperous. There's also messages, news, and information coming by way of water. So that can even be someone who is a water sign astrologically. This weekend heading into next week seems to be filled with happiness, celebrations, and truly transformation. Something is transformative this weekend, whether going through some form of transformative process, you find yourself changing in some positive way, but there are very positive changes happening this weekend. That is all for this week. I truly do hope that you found this tea leaf reading to be interesting, insightful, and hopefully a little bit inspiring. If so, please do consider subscribing to this channel. I really do appreciate it, as well as maybe liking this video and also to ring that bell for future updates. Thank you so much again, and hope that you have an amazing week, an amazing weekend ahead, and an even better next week. Take care.